Hey guys, this is Aegis, and this is the first game played between Fallacy and Fever Clan. This is going to be Fallacy's Psycho spawning over here as the pink Protoss player. His opponent is going to be Juan as the green Protoss player. Currently, Fallacy is down by 1 point. They played game 3 first. Juan is going to be producing some probes in this left-hand corner. Xel'Naga Fortress here from GSL. This is a very interesting map with the Xel'Naga tower that actually loses, I guess, energy as time goes on, and it does run out, and no one will be able to use it in a short amount of time. Psycho is actually throwing up his pylon at the front, maybe looking to wall off a little against any sort of 4-gate pressure. We'll see if he's able to do it well. And getting supply blocked for just a second. Probe's getting chrono boosted from Psycho, and Gateway coming up on 10 for 1, so he's going to be going for some early Zealot pressure, and the probe from Psycho does come in here and see it, so he's going to need to respond to that, throwing down quick Forge or a quick Gateway. Oh no, he's not walling off anymore. So those Zealots will be bearing down on that front door real soon. He needs to respond even faster, even to save up the chrono boost so that he can drop it on those Zealots. He needs, I feel like he might need that Forge, but a gas is on the way for Juan now, so no extreme threat coming up. The probe does come over here and see that the Forge is coming. And it does look like the Gateway will finish up, and a Cyber Core should be on the way. There it is, popping up. He's going to immediately begin grabbing the gas. This will allow Juan to get up a faster warp gate tech and possibly throw down a faster 4 warp gate attack. Psycho over here is mining his gas as usual. Probe is going to be scouting in here, and the cybernetics core coming up for Psycho is going to allow him to research the warp gate tech just a little bit later. The energy is being saved a lot by Juan, so he's going to be chrono boosting the heck out of that cybernetics core. Zella does pop out for Juan is going to be chasing after that probe. Probe from Juan is retreating from Psycho's base. Zella is on the way. More probes getting produced. Chrono boost being saved over here as well, so he's going to be dropping that on his cyber core as well. There's a chrono boost going down, and the Zealot here still chasing after that probe. Still no second. There's the second pylon. Still no third pylon from Juan. Is going to be chrono boosting that warp gate tech one more time. Additional gateways coming up now. Stalker is almost finished as well. Our pink Protoss player looks in a pretty good position. Going to be throwing down gateway number 3 a little bit earlier than his opponent. Will have that extra production, and Juan, he hasn't been making that many probes. It's 20 probes for Psycho to the 19 probes of Juan. 4 gateways on the way for Psycho. Going to be chrono boosting that Orb Gate Tech one more time. Orb Gate Tech is generally on pace for both players, so that early Cybernetics core didn't do all that much for Juan. Chrono boost going down again on that Cybernetics core over here. He needs to defend against this impending rush. Pylon coming up. It's just 2 gateways so far for Juan, so I don't know how much damage he's going to be able to do with just 2 gateways. He's going to be pushing the front with these few units over here, and it looks like the 4 gates and the warp gate is finishing up for Psycho. Pylon going to get warped in. Psycho should see this and be able to range down that pylon and prevent it from coming up. Looks like additional units being warped in here for Juan. He's going to be charging in here. Additional units warping in for Psycho. He looks like he has plenty of stalkers to be able to defend against this. He has the 4 warp gates and should be able to hold his own against all of these gateways. And he may even be able to push with those gateways and just straight up win, because it's a robotics facility coming up for Juan. And he is retreating with all of his forces, which only consists of 3 stalkers. Psycho looks like he's content to sit within his own base, throwing up additional pylons. He is supply blocked, and so he needs to get those pylons up so he can warp in additional units to advance across the field. Looks like that tower has been secured and will soon be going down. Juan using up the energy on that tower. I think it does decrease through the entire game, starting from the beginning, and that Xel'Naga tower explodes in a ball of flame. That's the first time I've seen that, and a couple of stalkers coming out here, gonna be able to pick off a stalker from Juan, and that stalker goes down, and the way is open for Psycho to push in here and do tons of damage. There's an Immortal on the way, but it's just gonna be out way too slow. More Zealots being warped in. This is huge trouble for Juan. Cancel going down on that Vespene Geyser, and the Zealots are going to be charging up this ramp in just a moment. And this could be the end of the game for our green Protoss player. All the Zealots making their way up here. Second force field being used. Those Zealots need to just charge headlong into this, or just hang out by the ramp so the Stalkers can range those units down. The Immortal does pop out and will be able to do some damage against those Zealots. Zealots and Stalkers making their way in here. That Immortal is doing huge damage against those Stalkers. It needs to get focused down. The Zealots being rushed after that one Immortal, and it looks like the probes are engaging in battle over here. We'll lose a ton of those probes if those Zealots would just turn around and fight. And more units need to get warped in here for Psycho if he wants to continue this aggression. Huge damage to the probe line over here. A lot of those probes going down. Immortal also following. And it looks like the push from Psycho will get cleaned up, but it puts Juan at a huge disadvantage. Let's take a look at the units tab. More Zealots being warped in. It is going to be 16 probes to the 19 probes of Psycho, so Psycho has not been making probes either. And the tech advantage does go to Juan. He does have the sentries out on the field, will be able to force field that ramp against any continued pressure. At this point, Psycho can do nearly anything. He has his robotics facility now out, getting the robotics bay up, as well as the second assimilator. I feel like he probably could expand after putting on that much pressure. Juan will not be excited to move out here anytime soon. Second Immortal getting chrono boosted out, and he will be marching out here to take out that one pylon. If there was a sentry at the bottom of the ramp, he would have been able to cut that army in half and picked it apart, but it looks like Psycho has retreated, and it will begin making Colossus in the near future. Going to be going for that one base Colossus, possibly push with one or two, maybe sometimes three against those Immortals. See if he can do the damage necessary to pick off the Source and Observer. It does see this push out from Juan, so we'll see if he's able to defend against this push. He's mainly made up of Zealots, so those Immortals will not be able to do as much damage as Juan hopes. The push is going to be coming out soon. The Observer keeping a good watch over exactly what's going on. The Sentry is at the ready to throw down that crucial force field to allow that Colossus count to start getting higher and higher. That Colossus will be out on the field in time for this push, but will it be enough against this very beefy force from Juan? He's going to be pushing up the ramp right now. The Zealots out on the field. Force field going down, trapping the Immortals on the ramp. More force fields coming up for both players, preventing the Zealots of Psycho from getting in there to deal the damage against those Immortals. But the Colossus outranging the Immortals. Looks like the Immortals finally get attacked by the Zealots. The Zealots ripping those units to shreds, and it looks like that Colossus is going to be able to range down all of those units. And with another warp in of units, he should be able to defend against these units. And he still has that sentry that should soon have enough energy for another force field. Additional units getting warped in here. The Colossus is going to begin working on that forward pylon. The Stalkers coming in here, going to see if they can pick off that Colossus. Looks like they will not. Another sentry warped in. He needs to throw down a perfect force field to prevent those units from running in here. Colossus continuing to range down that pylon, and it looks like the reinforcements will be cut off. He shouldn't actually be able to shoot up the high ground, so I don't know why that Colossus is actually backing up here. He has the Observer checking everything out. That forward pylon does get taken out, and it does give Psycho a way to advance right now. He's going to be having the larger army, and Juan's Observer going to be making its way in here. Another Observer on the way for Psycho. Blink is on the way, as well as a hidden expansion coming up for Juan. And Psycho is running out on minerals over here, so he needs to take his expansion real soon if he wants to be able to continue making all of these units off of all of these production facilities. Juan's observer trying to get in on the action over here. Looks like it will be escaping. Second observer out on the field for Psycho. A couple more Zealots warping in. Stalkers keeping watch over this forward pylon over here. Additional Stalkers going to be warped in, as well as the Blink finishing up. Probe going to be making its way out here, going to be checking out what's on the field. Looks like it will be able to slip past those Stalkers and scout around the field. We'll see if it picks up on the hidden expansion, letting him know that he needs to push real soon. Chrono Boost going down on the second Colossus. Psycho looks like he's going to be gearing up to defend against yet another push. It's mainly Stalkers against a Colossus Sentry. Stalker force over here. A couple of Zealots in the mix as well. Looks like a couple of units will get ranged down, and the second Colossus will be popping before any sort of push happens. The probe does make its way in here, possibly throwing down a pylon. Oh no, Juan's mineral line could suffer huge damage, and that second base will not do him any good if he's lost all his probes. Looks like Psycho is geared up to be able to push. Just waiting for the decision from both players of what exactly they're going to do. The second, the observer going to be checking in here. The observer from Psycho may be able to push it out of here. A couple of Stalkers are going to be advancing. A third Colossus on the way for Psycho. I feel like this is going to be the limit. He's not going to be able to make too much more off of this one base. His mineral reserves have dwindled down, and he's running out of options. Especially with this base coming up. The probes does scout it, so he knows he needs to push real soon to be able to do enough damage to take this game, but he's just sitting here on this one base. The Stalker is going to be starting to poke in here. A couple of Zealots going to be advancing down the ramp, and it looks like Psycho is geared up to push now, going to be trapping a couple of units here. The Colossus do not have that extended thermal lance, so he needs to keep them on top of his army as much as possible so they do not get picked off by any sort of blink play. And here comes the Stalkers going to be taking some damage, blinking back against those Colossus. Still no extended thermal lance on the way. Additional Zealots being warped in over here. Going to be attacking this mineral line in just a second. All of those probes are in grave danger. All of those Stalkers getting warped in here. The Zealots are being queued to attack. No, it looks like the Stalkers are being queued to attack those Zealots. And the entire green army has been pulled back. Those Zealots going to be going after those probes, going to see how much damage they can do. Psycho has killed 10 workers now with that Zealot warp in, and his main army is out and about on the map. We'll be able to deal with this Protoss army over here pretty easily if those Colossus do not get picked off. 3 Colossus against a bunch of Stalkers is pretty in favor of those Colossus, especially with the sentries and the Zealots sitting beneath them. Finally, that pylon gets picked off, and Juan does have his second base up and mining. The Stalker is going to get taking some damage over here. They're not going to be turning around. He may be going for some sort of base race. They're going to be blinking away, possibly headed straight for his opponent's base. Looks like they're going to be using these back alleys to retreat, and Psycho, he's got to do something about this. He needs to push. He's got an Immortal on the way. Out on the field, and he's got additional pylons coming up to relieve his supply blockness. But those Stalkers will be forced to defend if that army gets up in the opponent's face. Possibly a base trade make ensue, but we'll see what happens. A proxy pylon getting warped in, and the probe is going to be continuing to advance across the field. It looks like the Stalkers over here are going to be ranging this expansion right now. Cancel going down on all of those gateways, and here comes the Stalkers from Juan. He's going to be going for that base trade, and what Psycho needs to do is send some units over to that main and kill it off, or try to trap the army in his main base. But it looks like the probes have been pulled off the line and will be running about the map, going to be throwing up expansions here and there, preventing anything from going down. And it looks like this last pylon over here, actually there's a Nexus on the way for Psycho, so he needs to defend that base for as long as possible. He's going to be running in here and taking out all of the production facilities for Juan. He needs to go after those pylons to prevent any additional production. And all of the Stalkers here is destroying Psycho's base. Psycho doesn't even have that much money left to remake anything. Juan making his Nexus over here. And the Nexus falling for Juan. And he's got a second Nexus on the way. The Stalkers are streaming. Looks like the probes are streaming out across the map. Going to be finding this expansion and possibly doing some damage against it. Looks like he's going to ignore that expansion and let his Stalkers come over. In the near future, he's leaving one behind to deal with that one pylon. And those Stalkers, able to blink, will be able to find his opponent's expansion faster than Psycho can actually clean up this other base, as well as the pylons being strewn about the map by Juan. That expansion is being destroyed right now. There's a pylon over here getting destroyed as well. Psycho is going to be revealed real soon. He's only got this one pylon left after all that goes down. A couple of Zealots and Stalkers going to be coming over here. The Colossus trying to find where that next base is. The probes hanging out over here, possibly ready to throw down yet another pylon. There's a single Stalker hiding in the corner over here. A couple of Stalkers running around the map. And it looks like that pylon has gone down. The Colossus is trying to deal as much damage to this base as possible. This last pylon is going to get taken out. When those Stalkers get over there, they just need to blink as quickly as possible. And another Nexus is on the way for Juan. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Psycho to win this game. He's going to lose. And, never mind. He's got something somewhere that not even I know about. Looks like he's got the gas over here. Juan sees it. He's going to be bringing his army down. It's going to be a race to this location, but the slow Colossus and the non-blink Stalkers, it's going to be really difficult to run down here to defend that single assimilator. Psycho does have his units parked at the top of the ramp. They're trying to prevent those Stalkers from running in here, but Juan can just attack and take out all those Stalkers very easily. He's just milling around over here. He's losing a lot of Stalkers. Finally blink in, and the majority of Psycho's army is not available to help defend that. A couple of Zealots left at the ramp to deal with those Stalkers, and that assimilator is going to go down, and this game goes to Juan. Fever Clan does take game 1 as well, so games 1 and 3 have been taken by Fever Clan. It's currently 2-0 in favor of Fever Clan. We're going to be headed into game 2.